Good afternoon. This is Blu Laker. This is Cobra, USA. Right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. So, folks, today we're at the end of the week. It's Friday. A lot of things have happened during the course of this week. Unfortunately, they haven't all been positive. And you wonder why not? Well, why do we have such animosity towards our president? Why is every little thing that they can think of is being taken to court? Are they just trying to stall and stall? Well, we got 4 years, and they're not going to be able to stall for that long. Yes, we're going through some uncertainty right now. But why? Shouldn't we be thinking about progress in the United States? Shouldn't we be more worried about some of the day-to-day issues that are current, that need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed now? Some of these things could have been done already. Healthcare, for one, should be done. It shouldn't be something that's belaboring us now. And I'll tell you the reason why. And the name of the show, of course, is Cobra. And people say, well, how did you come up with the name of that? And actually, it was accidental. It wasn't something I had planned. I was looking for a different name because I've had a couple of other radio shows. One was the Green Wizard Energy Show, and the other was the Voice of the Independents. And I probably had a few others. But I wanted something that was catchy. And you won't believe this, but I had a hat similar to this one. And it had a cobra on it. It was a king cobra. And so I thought, well, okay, that's different. So I'll call it Cobra. And so I have. Now, that was a month and a half ago. And then, of course, we had the issue of Obamacare. And as I began to study, to really get caught up with who else may have been using the name Cobra, I went into Wikipedia, and although I had heard about it before, I didn't really pay too much attention to it then. But because health insurance was one of the first priorities, and one of the things that Donald Trump had promised, I thought, well, isn't that interesting? That out of the blue, I choose a name that has something to do with health care. How does it have anything to do with health care? Well, when you investigate Cobra, you find out that it is a program that was developed by Ronald Reagan in 1985. Yeah, 1985, 25 years ago, that he created. He created it in 1985, but it didn't become law until 1986. And so what is it? Well, now, if we've had insurance all that time, why do we need it now? Well, it's pretty simple. Because Cobra was not an insurance plan. It is a program that became law. And why isn't it an insurance plan? Because it's not. It's not. It guarantees that someone who has either lost their job voluntarily or involuntarily can continue with their insurance program for up to 18 months. You see the difference? It's not an insurance company. It's an insurance program. And it's mandatory for any company that has more than 20 people. More than 20 people employed, 20 employees, and you have to have Cobra as an option. Now, people say, well, gee, that's a very expensive program. Yes and no. Well, the yes part of it is that it is expensive because in order to carry on with your existing program, they had to cover the cost of that. And as an individual, you would have to pay more than maybe single carrier insurance, maybe. But because the employer is required to pay, most of the cost is covered by the employer. And I know one example, just to give you an illustration, and that person under Obamacare had a premium of around $565, almost $600. But because she had a subsidy of $400 a month coming from the federal government under the Obama program, her bill was $165. Certainly much different than having to pay the whole amount. Well, if you keep in mind what I was telling you about continuing coverage, it applies to Obamacare as well. Does it have limitations? Yes, because you can only use it for about 18 months. In some cases, it is extended, and it can go as long as 30 months. But it depends on the circumstances. So there's not one size that fits all. Realistically, most of the people can be covered for up to 18 months. However, remember they have to pay the premium. And if they don't have an employer who's bearing part of that cost, then they can pay as much as 100%, 102% in fact, of the premium. But what does that do? Well, for someone who has a pre-existing condition, oh, by the way, Obamacare and Cobra do cover pre-existing conditions. Both of them. So you have a continuation of that same policy if you want it or if you need it. A lot of people with pre-existing conditions need it. More expensive? Yes. But what are the options? What are the options? If they had to come out of pocket for the entire cost, those pre-existing conditions could cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And they have to bear the burden of that cost themselves. Whereas even under Obamacare or Cobra, their total costs are going to be significantly less because even though Cobra is not an insurance plan, the insurance plan that you have covers you and it's mandatory. So when we talk about why are we stalling, is it because it's a party against party, North against the South, East against the West, Democrats against Republicans? Aren't they all Americans? Oh yes, I remember the Civil War. Well, okay, I'm not that old. Almost. During the Civil War, we had the North against the South, but they were, guess what? All Americans. Did we finally bring that to a head? Yes, we did. And we started all over again, unified. Or maybe it wasn't a complete unification at the beginning, but it did turn into the United States of America. Yes, it was the United States of America before. We lost it a little bit, and we got it back. That's exactly what King Cobra does for the Cobra plan. Because when King Cobra, and if King Cobra becomes an amendment to the Cobra plan, am I saying too much about Cobra? Well, no, I don't think so. But you have to understand, Cobra and King Cobra are two different programs, very much like Medicare, with coverage under A or coverage under B, One is an advantage program that covers more of everything than the other. And that's exactly the case with Cobra and King Cobra. Because under King Cobra, the proposed King Cobra, pre-existing conditions is not covered for the first year of membership, nor is catastrophic insurance. Those two plans are covered under Cobra. And so, depending upon the date that Obamacare is no longer available, that will determine the cutoff date. And if you have King Cobra, if you already have King Cobra, you're fine. But King Cobra has, again, slightly different terms. Those terms are that most 99% of the people in King Cobra have good health or no pre-existing conditions. Now, after a year, those conditions kick in. But it's the purpose of King Cobra to give lower premiums and lower deductibles to the people in there because they have good health. No different than an insurance policy that gives you credit for not smoking or credit because you are a good driver. Both have insurance. But in some cases, there are people who have DUIs and other things that prevent them from getting less expensive coverage, or more expensive coverage if you have the DUIs and you have a bad traffic record, or you have other conditions that prevent you from being in the least expensive class. So why is it any different in medical conditions? No, it's not any different. You have to reward people that have good health, who maintain their own physical condition, take care of themselves. They're less likely to have problems. Isn't that what we're looking for in a healthcare system? Why do we go to the doctor to get medicine, prescriptions, to have surgeries when necessary? It's because we have to do that to maintain our health or to survive. So again, when we talk about all of the conditions that fall under either plan, you have to understand what each program does and what each program doesn't do. Then you can make an intelligent decision. Well, what's the difference between that and Obamacare? Huge. It's not 10,000 pages that nobody could read. And even if they did, they would never understand it because of the conflicting back and forth from chapter 103 to number 62 and paragraph 6 and article 32. Well, hey, you know what? Nobody that I know of could comprehend the 10,000 pages in Obamacare. However, in Cobra, the law is only 48 pages. That is doable for just about anybody. Now, the good part about that is this, that in 1985, when Ronald Reagan started to put that into action, they spent years in getting it prepared for final acceptance. And then upon final acceptance, it became law. So all the hard work, all the diligence, and all the brains that went into it is already a law. Now, if it's already law, why would we not want to continue with it? It's still there. It's still law. Does it include everything under an insurance plan? Well, again, I would like to remind you that it is not an insurance plan, it's an insurance program. And insurance is carried by the individual insurance companies, whether it be Aetna or Blue Cross or any of the others that are out there and available. They're the ones that provide the insurance. But because it wasn't working the way it was supposed to, and we're talking about insurance back in 1985, they had to put into effect a plan that would guarantee that there was insurance available for the majority of people. And you can say, well, what happens with the people who are in poverty, who can't afford to have insurance? Well, under King Cobra, there are multiple options that are available and benefits that go towards the establishment of health care for poor or lower income families. And that works because of what we have established in King Cobra with the medical profession, with the pharmaceutical companies. And yes, it's different. It's less premiums. More service, takes nothing from the seniors, and gives us affordable health conditions. Isn't that what we're looking for? Why is it that Canada and other places have lower insurance premiums, have lower prescription costs? Well, it's because they have given consideration and have done so in the favor of their citizens. So we need to do the same thing. We need to take advantage of some of the programs that are out there. And did you know that Russia has a great health plan for their citizens? That they take care of their citizens? That they honor what they have said? Now, if Russia can do it, why in the world can't we? Why in the world can't we? There's a lot of reasons why Obamacare failed. Mostly, it's the money. Yes, it's the money. Because not everybody, few people, can afford the total premiums of Obamacare. Additionally, there were to be penalties thrown at those people who didn't have Obamacare. Fortunately, already this administration has done away with the penalties. They're no longer there. So for those people who don't have Obamacare, the threat is gone. For those people who do have Obamacare, there's a continuation guaranteed by Cobra for up to 18 months. Is it the perfect plan? I don't know, but I do know that if we do away with Obamacare, there is an estimate of 20 million people being without insurance, and we need something to take its place. Something that is immediate. Something that can happen the day after tomorrow if we elect to go with Cobra, and especially if we elect to go with King Cobra, which is only amendment. It's only amendment to the law under Cobra. Now, how much simpler can it get? Why aren't we getting the responses that we should? I personally, with a few of my people that have helped me, have sent out over 200 letters to the U.S. Congress, to our local Nevada senators and to other individuals to let them see and let them examine for themselves the Cobra law. If we don't get the proper responses, if we don't wind up with a plan that is good for America, you are not doing your job. Your job is to ensure that they look at all the options that are on the table and choose the best one. Cobra and King Cobra are the ones that have so far been the only ones that can replace Obamacare without very much trouble. Not to say that someone may have a better plan. If so, how so? If so, how long? We can't wait forever. People are sick every day. People get problems almost consistently. So we need to act as quickly as we can to get these things handled. Again, if you want to help, if you want to do your part, and I would remind you that the Lord has said, faith without works is nothing. Show me a person who has faith and no works, and I'll show you a dead person. But the same thing is true. If you don't have health care, we can say exactly the same thing. You may have faith, but if you don't have insurance, you're dead. So it's up to you to take this thing by the hand and talk to your friends and neighbors to examine it, to see the potential. And if you have a better idea, by all means, let someone know, whether it's your congressional delegates, your representatives. I find it very difficult to understand how we can have all of this quote-unquote support of our representatives, but we can't ever get in touch with them. How do they represent us if they don't know what we're thinking? Even President Obama, not Obama, but President Trump has said, we're looking for ideas from the public. Now, why is he saying that? Because he's not getting the answers from the legislatures. That's why. And so we need to bring our ideas forward. Isn't that what has happened with Ben Franklin, with other people who have risen from nowhere because they had something that really worked? Look at Bill Gates. And we can name people, regular people who have risen because they made their ideas known and heard, and they had good ideas. How would it be if we were still 20 years back of where we are today and there wasn't a Bill Gates to make things work correctly? Now, he may be the owner of the idea, but you are the benefactors of those ideas. And frankly, where would we be without the computer? Where would we be if we didn't have advanced technology, whether it be in electronics, in the automobile industry, in the construction business? All of those things has taken years to finally wind up with where we are today. And are the innovations gone? No, not at all. Because as we move forward, we discover new ways to get things done. Whether it's ocean power, sun power, or military power. We have been able to achieve these things over the years through our collective works. Not everyone is capable of doing these things. Not every country is capable. They don't have the resources. They don't have the technology. They don't have the backing of the people. But we do, and we have the opportunity to get that done. It cannot work, though, if we're divisive. If one side says no and the other side says yes, and there's no reason why they're saying that they're not coming together, that they're not breaking ranks and saying, hey, this is going to work. And the most important thing about that is whatever we need, progress is what needs to take place. We can't keep going backwards. We can't go a foot forward and 2 feet back, because we're going to just eat up a lot of time. Why do we need all of this chaos and confusion that's caused by the Democratic Party? Why? Are they not Americans? Well, if they're not Americans, what are they doing in office? Why can't we cooperate? Why can't they throw the olive branch out? They could if they wanted to. They could show compassion. And guess what? They may save their jobs by doing that, by understanding that America first, America always, and to make America great again. As Americans, we have a duty and an obligation to perform. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. If that's not what's on your mind, you're in the wrong country. It's America first. It's faith. It's faith in God. It's faith in this great nation. And remember, a nation divided is a nation that will fall. We have lived through 200 years. And we are now, at least today, the world's greatest empire. But that can fall apart tomorrow because of this diversity or difference of opinion, this animosity, the lack of knowing when to stop. Even was it Willie Nelson? Know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And that's the way you win. So if you have a better way, if you know better, talk about it. Don't talk on a negative side of things. Think on the positive side. Let us all think forward. Let us all work together to make it happen and to make America great again. So again, this is Blu Laker. We are here at Radio Tribune in great Las Vegas, Nevada. We have the option to either sit on our hands or to put them to work. And I can say this, if nothing is ventured, nothing is gained, and we cannot continue to go backwards anymore. So until the first of the week, when we'll be back, I urge you to pay attention to what's happening in the nation and do your part to spread the word. And if you don't know about Cobra, by all means, take the time to educate yourself. The law is only 48 pages long, not 10,000. I can understand if we handed you a couple of volumes, 4 or 5 telephone books thick, you might have a little bit of a problem. But guess what? This is not even a 1/4 inch thick. So do your job. Stand up as an American. Make sure that your representatives do and understand and put the pressure on them because they can make it happen. Yes, 535 people in Washington who represent 330 million Americans. Are we going to allow them to continue to dictate to us? Or are we going to actually tell them, you're our representatives, you're going to do what we need to get done, and we need these things in America today. We must have health, wealth, and become a great nation again. Again, Blu Laker for the weekend. Blu Laker, that's my radio name. So if you want to come by and see us at Radio Tribune, we're on 9th Street, 717 9th Street in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's off of Charleston at 9th Street. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening.